Hello and welcome back to Bookmark Chronicles. Today we're going to talk about the TV show Shadow and Bone. So if you're interested in watching this, let me just go ahead and preface that there will be spoilers for the TV show, for the Shadow and Bone trilogy, and the Six of Crows duology. So I watched the series over the course of 2 days, and first of all, the fact that people were already posting spoilers at 9 o'clock in the morning on Friday is ridiculous, to say the least. But overall, I did enjoy it. I'm looking forward to the second season. I do have some things that I really enjoyed and some things that I really fucking hated, and we're gonna get into all of it. So let's start with the characters. Obviously, we'll start off with Lena. Yes, I'm going to get into the fact that they decided to make her have shoes simply for the point of adding unnecessary racism, but we'll get to that later. As far as casting and character portrayal, I have no complaints. I think the actress that played her did a fantastic job. She's very good at looking frightened or infatuated and whatever the fuck situation she's being put in at the moment, and I think she was a really good choice for Alina. One thing about both Alina and Mal is that I think the way that they're portrayed in the TV show does make them both a little bit more likable. And moving on to Mal, there was like a little debate happening on Twitter because Darkling book stands were becoming Mal show stands, which I don't really see why the fuck it matters. None of it's real. And I really don't understand the whole Mal versus Darkling stand thing, because people are literally like, well, you're stupid if you like this character, or you need to go to therapy or whatever the fuck. It's not that deep. It doesn't matter. It's all fucking fictional. Neither one of them are great, to be honest. So let's just put that out there. But also, in my opinion, the way that Mal is portrayed in the book, he's annoying as fuck and I hate him. He's a lot more likable in the TV show because his affection for Alina is actually shown, instead of us getting this one-sided Alina pining after him while he's ignoring her and off fucking every other girl that he meets. And I don't understand why it's becoming such a big debate. Like, cares? And for the Mal stand being mad at the former Darkling stands, well, y'all wanted them to like Mal in the first place, so why are you arguing? For me personally, I don't dislike the actor that plays Mal, but he's not what I expected. I feel like just he didn't match up with the vision of him that I had in my head, but that also could just be like my hatred of Mal, so who knows. Kaz. The guy who plays Kaz does it very well. I think one thing that has affected my perception a little bit was the fact that I listened to the audiobook of Six of Crows and it has a full cast. So like Kaz's voice in the audiobook is really raspy, and then Matthias's voice is really deep. So I expected that for the two of them, but then I had to remember like audiobook casting is not the same as TV show casting. Otherwise, I think the guy who plays Kaz does it really well and I really like him. Literally not a single complaint when it comes to Inej. I think she is perfect in every way. I love her so much. And I like the little scenes where they show Inej's compassion. Like with the guy who escaped from the fold and is telling them that he saw the sun summoner and Inej gives him water. Or the fact that she is a little torn up about the fact that she just killed someone for the first time. I think that's very on par with Inej, so I love that. Jesper. So here's the thing. There was a little bit of conversation about the fact that in Six of Crows, when we first meet Jesper, he is described as dark-skinned. The actor who plays him is a light-skinned biracial man. I think that Kit Young did a fantastic job. I think he is the literal embodiment of Jesper Fahey. However, especially with Lee Bardugo being so included in the process, we understand that this is how he is described in the book, but this person did a really good job playing them and that's why we made that choice. A simple statement could clear that right up, but instead it's just not being addressed at all, which is a problem because this is such a huge issue in the TV and film industry and nobody's talking about it. I felt the need to bring that up, although I do think that the actor that plays Jesper is literally perfect for it. I really enjoy the character of Nina. I like the actress who plays her. However, I really don't give a fuck about Matthias. I never have. I never will. And so the fact that most of what we got of Nina was tied to her meeting and forming this relationship with Matthias, I just didn't care. I really didn't. And I know that some people really love them and that's great. I think the reason that I just really can't bring myself to care about Matthias is I don't like the way that he hates Nina for something that she has no control over. And it reminds me of people who ship Hermione with Draco, because literally that disgusts me to my core. That's terrible. Why the fuck would you do that? Why would you want her to end up with someone who literally sees her as less than for something that she has no control over? And so I feel like that kind of plays a part into it. And I know that he comes around eventually and that he gets rid of his biases and all that. And that's fantastic. I still don't care. The Darkling. Didn't care for him in the book. Don't care for him in the show. Even the little, what was it, episode 7 where there's like a little backstory on him. Still didn't care. I think Ben Barnes does a good job portraying him though. But yeah. My feelings have not changed. So this whole time I thought that Bagra was pronounced Bagra. I think most of us did. I think it's even said that way in the audiobooks. Apparently that is not accurate, but now we know. I don't dislike the actress that plays her. I just think that I expected her to look older. But then again, I guess the Darkling doesn't look old either, so whatever. Jenya. So when we first saw the casting for Jenya, she wasn't what I expected, but when I watched the first scene with her, I absolutely loved it. I don't know the actress name, but she did a fantastic job. I love her as Jenya. I also love that we got to get to the part where she is wearing her red kefta. Jenya is one of my favorite characters. I don't care what anybody says. I think the fight that she and Alina have towards the end is annoying. I think Alina could have been a little bit more compassionate given the circumstances. And yeah, I do understand that she felt betrayed, but that compared to what Jenya went through, I think she can let it go. David, we got so little of David, but the actor did a great job portraying the nerdy, socially awkward, but super intelligent guy, and I just love it. I love David. I was gonna say something, but I don't want to ruin Rule of Wolves for anybody who hasn't read it yet. And Zoya. I already didn't like Zoya in Shadow and Bone because I don't fuck with girl hate ever. And I'll talk more about this later, but the fact that they made her racist, you know, we'll just get to that later. I like the actress who plays Zoya. I think she's a great pick and very close to what I envisioned for Zoya. However, I don't believe that Zoya Najulinski would have bangs. I'm hoping that in season 2 they're gone. But yeah, I didn't like that. I do wonder though if we will get any footage of Zoya traveling the fold alone to check on our family. I don't know. We'll see. I hope so. But I guess we'll see. So those are all of the characters that I care about. I don't know if I left anybody out, but I don't think I left anybody major out. So yeah, we'll just leave it at that. As for things that I liked, there were quite a few, but there were also a few things that I really didn't like, but I'll start with things that I enjoyed. First is visually, I think they did a fantastic job. I really like seeing the magic come to life. Alina's light wasn't necessarily what I expected, but the further into the season that we got, the more that I enjoyed it. I also thought they did a really good job with the Volcra. They're definitely more creepy than I expected, but in a good way, if that makes sense. I also like that the title scene for every episode was different, and I hope they keep that up because it's just like something kind of fun. I also really enjoyed the Inej tension. I didn't expect to get so many scenes of Kaz kind of like in his weird way trying to be nice to her, like offering his shares of the Crow Club to Tante Helene as collateral for whatever he still owes for Inej. Like, that was really sweet. That was a really nice addition. And him saying no one's like you or whatever. Weird little things that are very simple but mean a lot coming from Kaz Brekker. I also love that sense, and I'm just very religious, we all know that. I love the scenes where she gets to see Alina using her power and then talking to her afterwards. I just felt like it was so cute to sit there and watch her fangirl. And then Alina giving her a knife, I thought that was really cute too. I also really like the scene in the fold when Inej and Zoya are working together. The merch timelines in general were very, very well done, and had questions about season 2, but I'll get to that later. It was just really nice. It was a nice incorporation of the two. It was nice to get a little bit of backstory on the crows while we're getting through the introductory Shadow and Bone stuff, but I'm really glad that they decided to do it the way that they did. As I mentioned, I already really loved Jesper, but one of my favorite scenes with him was when they were traveling through the fold, and at first he's like fucking panicking, and then he starts killing all the Volcra. I thought that was like a perfect Jesper moment. It was really good. I liked that a lot. One of my absolute favorite scenes is the interaction between Kaz and the Darkling. More importantly, I enjoy that Kaz outsmarted him, because y'all know I hate the Darkling. But I love that part. That scene was so good. I also got immense joy from Inej putting a knife in the Darkling. It was a short-lived victory, but I still enjoyed it. I don't know if this was intentional, but I feel like the scene with Nina and Matthias in the water after the shipwreck where she saves him and he gets onto the thing with her, I feel like that was a very subtle reminder that Jack didn't have to die in Titanic. And the last thing on my list for now is I really enjoyed seeing the cut. I mean, it's weird and kind of creepy, but I really liked it. I really liked every time that it was used. I thought they did it very well. And honestly, I don't know. I guess I didn't really have any expectations. I did not like that he used it on the stag, but what are you gonna do? Now on to the things that I dislike. As I already mentioned, not a huge fan of Nina and Matthias. Their acting, their chemistry, all of that was fantastic. I'm not discrediting that at all. I just don't care for that storyline in general. Another thing that I really hated, and I know other people are gonna love it and that's totally fine, but y'all already know my feelings on the situation. I hated all of the Darkling and Alina scenes, especially like the ones where they're making out and the one where it's starting to get hot and heavy, and I'm just like, ew. And I know she didn't know then, but then later on I'm like, LOL at Alina realizing she just got seduced by a 130-year-old man. Yeah. Gross. And everybody talks about the scene where he starts to walk away, but then he comes back to kiss her again. And yeah, that could have been cute if it wasn't the Darkling. One thing that I thought was so weird was that I saw a tweet that said something like, I'm sad that Alina didn't mourn the Darkling's death or look even a little bit sad about it. Did we watch the same show? Did you, even in the last episode, like, what is she supposed to be sad about? He put a collar around her neck, like literally it's infused into her skin. He's been lying to her since they've known each other. He now has the ability to not only manipulate her, but also her power. He's been torturing Mal in front of her. He decided to expand the fold, killing hundreds of people. Where does sadness fit into that? This is why I don't understand Darkling fans. Like, what? Okay, whatever. Why would she be sad? Especially at this point in time. Not sorry I said what I said. I am very disappointed in the fact that we only got no mourners once. We literally got a whole fucking heist and didn't get no mourners until the end of episode 7. I'm like that. I know I'm not the only one who feels this way. I hate the way that they did the collar. I don't understand why they had to infuse it into her skin like that. And it's like sticking up on the sides. Like, aside from it just looking hella creepy, like it can't be comfortable, like logistics wise. How does she sleep with a little antler sticking out of her neck? I feel like they could have done that better. I also didn't like the thing with the Darkling's hand or whatever. I just didn't like it at all. Now for my biggest complaint. They went through the trouble of advertising that the casting was going to be super diverse and it's going to be so great, whatever, only to use that to add unnecessary rampant racism. And I get that Alina is half Shu. Cool, fine. But the comments that were made to her, and one of the servants saying to Jenya, I would start by making her eyes less Shu. Like, what the fuck? And yeah, Alina does say, don't change my eyes, but otherwise, all of the racist moments that happen to her, she hardly ever reacts to them. there's hardly ever any emotion. We hardly ever get to see how that really affects her. And it's like, you literally could have turned this into a powerful moment, but instead you just added this shit for no fucking reason. Which is also why I hate the fact that they decided to make Zoya racist. Zoya, a biracial woman who literally, they acknowledge the fact that Zoya is Suli in the first fucking season. It's the part where they're in the palace, Inej is doing her acrobatic thing. Someone says, oh, Ziminis are so talented. And Zoya walks by and it's like, she's Suli. And what pisses me off even more than that is that they're using the excuse that someone like Zoya, who is also biracial, understands how much that hurts and that's why she did it. Number one, does she? Because she's been passing as Ravkin this entire time. Like, nobody knows that she's Suli. Second of all, if you know how that feels and you understand the pain that that inflicts on somebody, you're not going to turn around and do that shit to somebody else. That literally makes no fucking sense. So having Zoya call her a half-breed when they first meet, for what? The girl hate between the two of them was enough. It was already vile as fuck. Zoya literally tried to kill her. What was the point? What was the reason? I need a valid reason. Because literally you have this fucking fantastic fantasy world and it really wasn't needed. And then all the bragging about how diverse the cast is gonna be, but then you flip it and turn it into that? What was the point? There was no teachable moment. There was no addressing those issues, hardly any addressing those comments. So what the fuck was the point? And it's hard for me to believe that not a single person questioned that. And if nobody questioned it, how many people of color are on your writing staff? Apparently not enough. And honestly, what pisses me off the most about it is that I have literally only seen one person talking about this on Twitter. Literally only one. And in a tweet that wasn't a response to my own tweet about it, because obviously I fucking said something. And I feel like everybody's just ignoring it. People are literally saying things like, oh, this show is so perfect. Unaddressed racism equals perfect? Or do you just not care that you're not even taking that into consideration? Because that's an issue. Especially with everything going on in the fucking world right now, especially in the States. And I know not everybody lives in the States, but racism exists everywhere. Unless they plan to somehow rectify that, that was a bad fucking move. Like, piss poor job. So those are the majority of my thoughts on the first season of Shadow and Bone. There might be a little bit more, but I'm tired and I don't feel like filming anymore. So I do have a question though. It seems like we are already being set up for the ice court heist. So does that mean that season 2 is going to be the merge of Siege and Storm and Six of Crows? Because that's what it's feeling like at the moment, which I'm totally fine with, honestly. It would mean that we finally get Nikolai. Unfortunately, we still have to wait for Wylan. But in my opinion, that's what it felt like it was leading up to. We've already seen the stag, which means the Sea Whip is next, and that's when Sturmhond enters the picture, and Matthias is on his way to Hellgate, so seems like that's where this is going. So let me know if that's what you think is going to happen, what your thoughts are on the series as a whole. Otherwise, that's all I have for you today, and I'll see you in the next video.